Welcome everybody to Nevada County Community Library presentation on the basics of Italian genealogy. My name is Laura Papani, and I am the branch manager of the Doris Foley Library in Nevada City, which is our historical and research branch. And Casey is going to be helping me with logistics. If you have questions as I go through the presentation, I have no problem with you chiming in with questions. You can also just type questions in the chat. I can't see those while I'm sharing my screen and doing the presentation part of it, but Casey is going to help me with that part of everything. And I have a PowerPoint presentation, and then I'm going to be going back and forth to some things on the website, on different websites, to kind of demonstrate some of the resources out there for people who are just starting to figure out the lay of the land with doing the genealogy of their forebears in Italy. So let me get my screen sharing. There we go. Yeah. Yes, I do consent to be recorded. All right, and there we go. So, basics of Italian genealogy. First, I will give you just enough history. Just enough history for genealogy's sake, and to understand why there's some confusion, or why there may be confusion in terms of records and whether they're available and how they're available and all of that. So from a genealogical standpoint, there's three significant time periods. The first is the Napoleonic civil registration, which went from 1806 to 1815. So Italy was not completely unified until 1870, just to back up a little bit. Before 1870, it was just a collection of states. So in this period, Napoleon instituted civil registration in areas that he had conquered. And this map kind of shows you where the areas that Napoleon conquered are here along this coast, and these provinces, which are more like which are other countries now. But the starting date of when this civil registration began depends on when the area was conquered by Napoleon. It does not exist in areas where Napoleon did not rule. They hadn't started doing these records in this way. So entries during this time are usually handwritten in paragraph form. And you may find some other types, but that's mainly what it is. And when I'm talking about records, I'm talking about the civil records of births, deaths, marriages, all of that kind of stuff. I put the Italian translation of this, and I would like to do a disclaimer. I do not speak Italian. I think I took like a year of it. So I'll give it my best shot at different times when it's necessary, but I apologize to anybody who actually speaks Italian and is offended at me slaughtering the pronunciation. So it's the Stato Civile Napoleonico. Then the second significant time period is right after well, the 1815 to 1866, after Napoleon was out of Italy, Italy separated back into smaller independent kingdoms and duchies. You can see here Tuscany, the Papal State, Kingdom of the Two Sicilies, Venetia, Lombardy, all of these different smaller states. Some areas which were mainly in the south continued with civil registration. Others, mainly in the north, discontinued it. Some areas, so you may find when you're trying to find records of your ancestors in Italy, that some areas have records from the Napoleonic period, and then they don't have any from this Restoration period. Or some others have from the Restoration period, but not the Napoleonic period. So knowing kind of which of these periods the event occurred that you're trying to research will kind of help guide you in trying to track things down. During this civil registration of the restoration, some areas have, so some of the records are pre-printed forms at this time. Some are still handwritten forms or paragraph style records. And I like this one, the Stato Civile della Restaurazione, because to me, I read it, I look at it, and I think it's about restaurants, and Italian restaurants make me happy. So there you have it. Then the third significant time period is the Italian civil registration. So that started in 1866 and then continues on till today. The Stato Civile Italiano. Areas began this period of civil registration at different times, depending on when that area was unified with Italy. So you'll also get a wide range of types of forms, from handwritten paragraphs to regular forms and all of that during this time. So one thing to know also is that there is no kind of national archives or national database in Italy for all of the different regions of Italy. They're starting to do that. They're starting to get all this stuff online, but some of the provinces, or I guess you call them states, don't have this kind of, don't have anything online. Others have just about everything online. So it's a bit of the luck of the draw as to where your ancestor came from. So the records, as you might imagine, are a bit messy. So what you want to do to kind of have a game plan for this is to start at the end. Start with what you know now. Find out as much as possible about their lives here in the US if they emigrated, and kind of work backwards from that. Italy, because of the lack of national databases, you have to know the town that your ancestor came from. Archives are organized by province, and each province has many towns. So, and there's really no provincial index. So how do you find out what the town is? Well, family lore might tell you. People might say, oh, my grandmother, my great-grandfather came from Parma or Siena or whatever. And if not, or if you have reason to want to double check that, which is always a good practice in genealogy, immigration records should also list the town. So you may want to start with passenger lists. You can find passenger lists on ancestry.com, which is, you're probably familiar with these, but ancestry.com, the library has a subscription to that. It's a subscription-based paid resource that you can access from the Doris Foley Library. There's Family Search also, which is compiled by the Church of the Latter-day Saints. And again, the library has affiliate status for Family Search at the Doris Foley Library. What that means is that anybody can go in and set up a free account with Family Search. They can search all different kinds of records, but you may hit up against a message saying that the record you're seeking is only available from an affiliate library. If you reach that message, the Doris Foley Library is an affiliate library, so you can come here and use one of our computers, or I can help you with my computer to get access to those records. Then another one that came up when I was putting together this presentation is called stevemoores.org, and I'm going to switch over now to my website, to my web browser, to show you how that works, because it's pretty cool. Stephen Morse compiled, how do I explain it? His website does not have content of its own. It's an aggregator. So he has developed all kinds of forms and search forms that help you to grab the information you need from a variety of databases, including Ancestry and Family Search. And some searches that might take you several steps in those databases, you can do with one form on stevemorse.org. And also, I think he also serves up more information or compiles it differently than you might see in the search results on Family Search, Ancestry, or other places. So it's a really good website with a lot of interesting search access points that that might make your search easier and might get you to where you want to go faster. So I'm going to switch over. Casey, can I just switch on my screen, or do I have to actually stop sharing PowerPoint and go over to the other one?
I believe there's something at the top that says new share.
Yes, thank you. There we go. Can you see that now?
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay, thank you. So this is stevemorse.org. And a good place to start, you could search on a variety of different things. There is one of kind of a good place to start is this Ellis Island Passengers Gold Form, which searches all of Ellis Island passengers in one step if they entered between 1892 and 1924. So if I'm clicking on that here, there's no required fields on this, so you can kind of put in what you know. And my suggestion to everybody is to put in as little information as possible, because the more information you put in narrows down your search results. And if, for example, you're searching for last name, I'll put my last name here. If I'm looking for, I don't know, Federico Papani, if I put Federico in here, and he's actually listed as Rico or Fred or Federico spelled wrong with his K-O, it is not going to find him. You could put maybe a first initial for any F Papanis if you do a search and you get too many results and you want to narrow it down. But I would really just suggest starting with the broadest search possible, just a last name. And then if you have a popular last name and you're getting too many results to handle, then start narrowing it down bit by bit until you get some useful information. So I'm going to go here and just hit search. And it's giving me, so it shows down here, passenger records 1 to 50 out of 87. So there are more records than you can see on my screen. I could click down here to the next 37 if I wanted to go beyond this. It looks like it's giving me the most, all of the Papanis first, and then it's going into kind of variations with longer names on it. So let's see, I don't know, let's just pick one to look at. Oh, look, I guess that's the one I tried before. So here's Antonio Papani, who came from Piesta and Faggio. Sorry, that's probably really bad. Yes, I'm already logged in, thank you. Okay. And then it gives you the results in the Ellis Island database and it's showing me the passenger ID, where he departed from Naples, the name of the ship, his arrival date. They also, then they follow it with all kinds of stuff that they want you to buy, but you don't have to buy anything in order to make use of this information. And it just said, well, it says from Italian South, but then it says Piesta Foggia. So that's a way you can find their hometown. Sometimes you'll find they'll give you more information on this. Some of the later manifests, I'll show you the ship manifest here. Why is it? Oh, you can buy it, but you don't have to. If you scroll down, you can look at it, okay? So I'm looking at the full image of the ship manifest, or I'm trying to, here we go. And I'm not going to go into too much here, but he's on here somewhere, and it gives you all the information in this lovely handwriting, and it'll tell you, like, it's hard to make out from this, but it says this person was the husband of so-and-so, and or where they're going to, who they're going to join. So they're husband of somebody. It might list somebody as a friend. Anytime you find any little bits of information of these, the names, anything like that, jot it down. You never know if it's going to come in useful, or if they listed somebody as a friend who's actually an aunt or an uncle. You never know what you're going to need later on. And then it also tells over here, it shows the place of birth. And then, but all of that information is also summarized on that very first page. It gives you ship information. I love having the picture of the ship personally. A little bit about the history of the ship. And if there's annotations, oh, this is how they've transcribed the information on that passenger list. Are there any questions on this so far, Casey? Any questions come up that are in there?
No, I don't see any on Facebook or in the chat.
Just wanted to check.
I have a question.
Yeah, Don, go ahead.
Is this strictly for Ellis Island, or can you search other ports?
Yes, thank you for asking that. This is just the first one I clicked on to show you, but they have Ellis Island. I'll collapse some of these so you can see other ports of immigration. They've got Baltimore, Boston, New Orleans, Galveston, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Hamburg, Canada. They also have down here Italians to America, 1855 to 1900, searching the National Archives archival Italians to the US database in one step. So one click, you can do that. They have census information, which isn't part of what we're talking about today, but I just wanted to point out that it's there. And for the other ports, where is it? Oh, I'm in the census. Here, up at the top, maybe you're not sure what port they came in through, but you weren't finding him on Ellis Island or the other. And remember, Ellis Island wasn't the only New York option either, depending on the time that they arrived. But if you think, well, I'm not finding them under Ellis Island, let me look somewhere else. You can search all of the other ports in one step with this various ports free, which is right at the top. You see with some of these, there's a $sign next to it. That means that from the ones that I explored, it means that it is pulling information from ancestry.com, and you need a paid subscription in order to get to the information. So you can still do those searches, but it'll block you from getting to the actual results. Those are ones that you could access for free from the Foley. So if you look at the various ports free, it's very simple. And you do have to change, you can't do it all in one step, my mistake. You do have to change to the different ports in this pull down menu, but you can just put in the last name and search. It's going to family search, you can see. Okay, I don't see any Papanis, so let's just change to the next one. And you don't have to go in and re-enter all of your searches. You can just do one search after the other.
Laura, there is a question in the chat.
Go ahead. Can you read it to me?
Yeah, will this website work for other people from other countries?
Yes. Yes, it's not just Italian, it's other countries. It's a really cool database. One of the others, and also all New York passengers, I think, is also a good one. Searching for all New York passengers in one step. Anything from 1820 to 1957. Because as I kind of mentioned this in passing, Ellis Island operated from 1820, is that right? I don't know all this stuff off the top of my head. Ellis Island operated from during one window of time. Before that and after that, people came in through other places like what is now Battery Park and other things. So if you are not exactly sure what time frame they came in, you don't know that they came into Ellis Island, you can use this, searching all New York passengers in one step. And I don't know if any Papuanis did this, so let's just see. I just want to show you what it does when it's going to Ancestry. It went to Ancestry because I'm logged into my account, but you can see there is one hit here, and you can see, stop it. You can view the record to see the manifest and see whether it's the person that you're looking for. So any of the, if you've ever done any of this, like trying to search for people all through kind of like a variety of different ways, you'll recognize how useful it is to have like everything all in one spot, to have these aggregators to make it a lot easier, because some of the search functions just aren't as easy as we would like them to be. There's one other thing here that doesn't really have to do with this presentation, but personally, I thought it was really cool. It is this, what did I call it? The relationship calculator under births, deaths, etc. Here, it's down here. This is hard for me. This will tell you, this will help you figure out how someone is related to you. So like my husband, you have to choose the relationships from up in this square up here. So my husband's mother's sister's son is my first cousin. That person's son is my first cousin once removed. So if you are trying to figure out if somebody is a first cousin once removed, a second cousin, if you don't have that done in your head, this is a really cool way to figure it out. And again, this guy, Stephen Morse, just kind of like, he's really good at SQL queries, I think, and he just pulled all of this stuff together for people to use for free. Is there another question that came up, Casey? I see there's 2 things in the chat, and I just wanted to double check before I move on.
No, I think that person was just thanking you for answering the question.
Oh, you're welcome. Let's see. Anything else on that? Oh, also, you know, in line with keeping your searches as simple as possible, putting in as little as possible, is being flexible with spelling. And that's part of just putting the first initial too, is that you don't know how it was spelled or how it was written by the person on board. So, so that's also another tip to use. So let's see if I can figure out how to do this. How do it was new share, right? I just have to keep going back and forth to new share, right?
Yeah, that should work.
Sorry. First time I'm doing it this way. I don't think it worked.
You can always end the share and start a new one.
Yeah, because I don't see my other one there.
Sometimes that new share doesn't want to work.
Yeah, it wasn't letting me toggle, or at least I didn't know how to toggle. So there's my PowerPoint. Okay. So that's passenger lists, and that'll help you figure out the town that they're from, as well as other interesting information. Once you know the town, then you might want to go deeper into family search or ancestry to find more information, or this Antenati website, which is the site for Italian vital records. It was created by the Ministry of Cultural Heritage and Activities in Italy, with the goal of publishing all of the civil registration records. They're in the process of doing that. So depending on what province your family came from. It might not be there yet, and if it's not there, check back. For example, my husband's family came from Parma, and that is not, they haven't digitized their records yet, or they haven't put them in the Antonati website yet. So I'll show you that as well. Share. See, it's not working, so let me, or I don't know what I'm doing, which is also possible. No, that would be my, sorry folks, technical difficulties here. Okay. So this is the Antonati website, and you could write down this URL, or you could just go into, when you're in Google, if you just Google the word Antonati, A-N-T-E-N-A-T-I, this is the first one that will come up. Now, obviously it's an Italian website, so it's usually in Italian, but up here in the top right corner, you can toggle it to English. Not all of the, most of the pages I would say are not in English. So that might not be an option to the page you're at, but it does work on this search page. So I'll do a sample search for you. And one thing to say is that find the names isn't, you really want to browse the registries. You want to go into the registry for the province your family is from, and then the date, etc. I'll show you a sample search. Find the names. Not everything is indexed by name, so you might luck out and be able to get to your ancestor that way, but more than likely you're not going to. Now, how do you find the province if you know the town? I would just go to Google, and let's use, I'll do a sample search for you. This is a real person. His name is Giovanni Benedetto. He was not a very well-known guy, but he has a very well-known son. Does anybody know who Giovanni Benedetto's son is? Any ideas? He anglicized his name.
I do.
What?
I think it's Benito Mussolini.
No, that's a good question.
Okay.
Was somebody who, so Giovanni emigrated to the United States, and his son was born in New Jersey, I think. Maybe
Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett. Yes, Tony Bennett's father. So he was born in Podargoni, which I'm sure I've translated it wrong. So if I just Google Podargoni, then here get something from Wikipedia, and it tells me right here it's in the southern Italian region of Calabria. Okay, so then I'm going to go back to Antonati and browse the registries. Yes, I agree, I'll behave myself. So note here that if I look for the archives of the state of Calabria, it's not here. That's because it's one of 3 that are called Reggio Calabria. Just keep looking if you're not finding it. So I'm clicking on Reggio Calabria, and I know he was born on October 3rd, 1895. So what does that put me into? This Stato Civile, the Napoleons, the Restoration, or the current civilian? And I actually didn't write it down, so I don't remember. 1895 is the Italian Civil Restoration. That's the most current one. So I'm going to click on Stato Civile Italiano here. And now it's giving me different towns. So I'm looking for Podargoni, and you can see there's pages over here. Successivo means the next one. Ultimo means the very last one. Let's just go to the next page. Nope, It's the next one after that. Koragon, right here up at the top. So I'm clicking on that. And now we see, okay, so citizenship, that's if somebody emigrated and became a citizen. Morti is deaths, matrimony is weddings, nati is births, and then matrimony pubblicazioni. That's when it was published, and I'll be honest, I don't know exactly what the difference is between these two. If anybody knows, feel free to pipe up and clarify that. But what I'm looking for is his birth date. I'm looking for his birth record. So he was, so I'm going to click here on Nati. And you probably know this. If you go over to Google and you say Nati in English, it will translate it right there for you, so that if you need to know any of these words, you can do that very easily. And now you see so it was arranged by province and then by town and now by the date. So we know he was born in 1895. So I'm going to find 1895 here. And okay, so then here's all the scans from 1895. Now you could just leaf through and look for his name, but if you check either at the beginning, but usually at the end, you might find some kind of an index. So that's what I'm clicking on, was image number 25. And come on, get bigger. And yes, this is an index. So we're looking for Benedetto. Come on, oops. He's way up here. There were 3 Benedettos born that year. And here's Giovanni. And he's number 44. So then we can go back and figure out where number 44 is basically by leafing through. I'm gonna have a very lucky guess here, because I didn't check this beforehand at all, that he's on number 16. And so here you can see someone else, and then here's Giovanni Benedetto. Look at that handwriting, isn't that beautiful? So here you can see he's number 44. And then they give all kinds of information, including parents and where he was born and all of that kind of stuff. Okay. Any questions on that so far? It's pretty cool. On the family search has a wiki for Italian research, which I'll show you a little bit later. On that wiki, they have like a guide for how to use Antenati, including translations of some of the commonly seen terms and things like that. So, but it's a really cool website. Again, it's a work in progress. And I think, where do they show you? There's some place, maybe browse the registries. I apologize. I meant to check this before, but there. Oh, here we go. This is what I was looking for. I just clicked on find the registries, and it tells you here the provinces that are now included in the state archives. Okay, so you could see which one. I think I mentioned my husband's relatives are from Parma. You could see it's not listed here right now. So it's not one. So if I wasn't finding anything, hey, there's a good reason for it. It's not yet been put into this database. Okay. So some back to the PowerPoint. I just listed here some useful terms. Oh, and my email address will be at the end of the presentation. So if you want to email me, I'm happy to send you a PDF of these slides. One thing to be aware of because this can make things very confusing, is the kind of the traditional Italian conventions of how to name the children. Typically, back at the time that you're researching, in the 1800s, the first son is named after the father's father. The second son is named after the mother's father. First daughter is named after the father's mother. The second daughter is named after the mother's mother. This gets really confusing. Like, say, dad had 4 sons, and each of those sons got married and had baby boys in the same year. You might find 4 babies with the same name born in the same year. So just be aware of that. It can get very tricky. You can have several cousins with the same name and similar birth years. But my understanding is that a child was never named after a parent, like after the dad or the mom, unless that person had died. So, for example, if the mother died in childbirth, that's about the only way that the child might be named after her, or if the father died during the pregnancy. Other than that, they would not have been named after the father. Some other useful online resources to show you, and I think I'm gonna just go over the internet and skip the slides for now because I'm just gonna be popping back and forth. Ancestry.com. Again, this is a paid subscription. So you either have to have bought your subscription or you can use it through the library because we have a subscription. If you go to Help and Support Center, and wait for it to connect. Okay. If you search here for Italian, I think it works. You'll find there are some things here for searching Italian records, like, oops, stop it, stop popping up. There's a glossary of genealogy terms, Italian to English, occupation terms, so you know what their job was, relationship terms. These could help you if you're looking at these the documents on Tonati. There's some information on researching non-English records. So for Italian, they talk about the Italian state archives as well, Italian landing page. So there's things there to poke around in if you would like to get more of, if you find something that's more helpful, or if you need some more help, or if you just want to go a little bit further and explore a little bit further. This is just, their landing page is just links to those 3 things that we just saw. And I did notice, I think it was here under search. I swear I figured this out before. Sorry. Oh, Ancestry Academy. If you go to Ancestry Academy, then there are, I'm in family trees now, which is a problem. There's a link from the homepage as well. Visit Ancestry Academy. I'm clicking on, oh, I'm sorry, it was under products and services. Sorry if I'm going too fast. If you scroll down with their main categories, you can see that they're researching outside of the United States. They have 14 different videos on finding your Italian roots. So you might find something in here that would help you as well. Strategies for town of origin, reading the handwriting, all about the different kinds of registrations, tips and strategies, etc. And then we're not talking about ecclesiastical records at all in this in this intro, but that's also a good place to look for different kinds of documents. So that is Ancestry. Then there's Family Search, which has, if you go over to search, I'm up here on the top, search Research Wiki. Eventually, okay. If you go into the search box in the middle of the page and type in Italy, you come to their wiki page, which has a lot of links to different information that you could use in researching your Italian ancestors. There's clickable maps to different provinces. There's also Italy, finding town of origin to learn how to search for the Italian place of origin. It goes into more depth than what I have told you. Different regions, provinces. They have Italy research strategies. They've got information on interpreting Italian records, locating different types of records, and a whole host of other things. And Facebook communities for discussing genealogy research, which can also be a big help to you, etc. And one of the things in here that I was talking about were the how-to guides. And I think that is where, on this page down here, civil registration records online, Antonati, there's the instruction sheet that'll give you some more tips on how to search on the Antonati website. Another place to play around on is Cindy's List. They have cindyslist.com/Italy has a whole bunch of different categories. I haven't explored all of these, but it's someplace to poke around in and find information on different genealogy topics. She's got links to all different kinds of things. And this one I haven't looked at much, but it was recommended to me by one of our volunteers who does a lot of genealogy, and she recommended it for the databases that are here. It's the Italian Genealogical Group. I believe they're out of New York. They do have memberships, but you don't need memberships to search a lot of the databases. So they have search techniques here, but if you click on select a database, there's all different kinds of stuff here. Alien statements, births, New York City, Brooklyn, Queens, grooms and marriages in New York City, Nassau and Suffolk counties, Brooklyn, death records, and other military records. So that is what I had to show you. Let me put back my my screen with the PowerPoint so that I can get to this is just my email address, just so you have it. If you would like, we're still going to have time for questions. I'm not wrapping up here, but if you have questions for me, you can email me or send me or give me a phone call at the Foley Library. If you would like a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, the presentation is also going to be posted on our YouTube site. And then I'm also starting up a new genealogy mailing list that I will only use for letting people know about genealogy related information or programs that are coming up, classes that we might be holding. So if you're interested in being on that mailing list, send me an email and tell me explicitly that you want to be on that mailing list. The library is really careful about not using your email and sending you emails about everything under the sun. So this is just going to be a very specific topic. that is it for the presentation part of this. So are there any questions or any comments? Also, if you're further along in your research, if you have any tips or anything interesting that you found, you can either unmute yourself and jump right in. You can put your message in the comments, either on Zoom or on Facebook Live. And I'll give you a few seconds in case anybody has anything. Any Tony Bennett stories? Casey, is there anything over on Facebook that we should know about?
No, not that I'm seeing.
Okay. So what do you think? Helpful or overwhelming or a little bit of both?
Well, I found it helpful. I've gotten as far as Lucca and the city or the town Ponta Amoriano, but I'm stuck. And I'm not sure if I'll have to go to ecclesiastical records or continue with the civil, now that I understand that it's broken into 3 distinct groupings.
Yeah. George, have you used Antonati before? Were you familiar?
No,
with that?
I have not.
Okay, so check and see. I didn't catch what province you were looking into, but check and see if that's one of the provinces that's there, and you might be very happy with what you're able to find on that.
Yeah, could be 2 or 3 different provinces, because at one point it was called, or now it's called Tuscany, and prior to that it was Lucca, and prior to that it was something called Caponori de Montagna, and it's like, okay. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, George, also, is that the provinces didn't always have the same names. So
Right.
it is a bit of a treasure hunt. I forgot to mention one thing about Family Search. Again, Susan, our volunteer who knows a lot about genealogy, mentioned to me that Family Search in the past few years has been really working with the Italian, with Italy, the whole country, but has been working with Italian authorities to get a lot of stuff scanned and onto Family Search. That George, you might try that for ecclesiastical records, because it seems likely that they might be working with the churches more than, I mean, in addition to the governments, the municipal governments, but that might be a good option for you to check.
Cool, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions or sticky problems? And George, email me if you want me to help you to try to track anything down for you. Everybody else too.
Cool, thank you.
I'm happy to try to help.
Okay, thanks very much.
Yeah, Zoe, if they're still in the process of being digitized, yeah, just keep going back, because it's very much a work in progress. And it's great that they're doing this, but it'll be more useful for some people than others simply because of the geography. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I want to thank you very much for joining in on this discussion. And again, if you're interested in the genealogy mailing list, let me know. Elisa and I are doing another of the Intro to Genealogy presentations on Tuesday, August 3rd at 2 p.m. Yeah, that's next week. I can't believe it's August. So if you are interested, please do join us for that. The focus is going to be on different websites and online places to go to look for information. And it's not specific to Italian ancestors. It's a more general class. And that will be the second to last of the basic presentations that we've been doing. The final one is going to be in, I don't have it written down, I'm pretty sure it's September. beginning of September, and that one is going to be on DNA.
Raising the hand is going to be.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate you being here.